You're not broke because you lack money. You're broke because you don't believe you deserve it yet. And that gap between what you have and what you believe is possible, that gap is your entire problem. 5 years from now, you could be living in the same apartment, working the same job, telling the same story about how close you were. Or 5 years from now, you could be the person other people study, trying to figure out how you pulled it off. The difference isn't luck. It isn't connections. It isn't even effort. It is who you believe yourself to be. This video is about 3 shifts. The first is in your vision. The second is in your identity. The third is in your behavior. You don't need to master all 3 today, but you need to understand all 3 because right now you're probably only working on one of them and wondering why nothing is changing. Let's start with what most people get wrong. The law of attraction has been buried under self-help noise for decades. Vision boards, morning affirmations, journaling in gratitude, and none of it working. People try it for 90 days, nothing happens, and they call it a scam. But they were doing it wrong. Not because the tools are bad, but because they skipped the most important step. They tried to attract a life they didn't believe they were allowed to live. That's the central lie this video is here to dismantle. The law of attraction is not a manifestation machine. It is an identity alignment system. The work isn't in the wanting, it's in the becoming. Here's what that looks like practically. You wake up and the first thought in your head is about what you don't have. The rent, the gap in your bank account, the career that's moving slower than you planned. You scroll, you compare, you feel behind, and then maybe you open a journal and write down 3 things you're grateful for. And you wonder why the ritual feels hollow. It feels hollow because you're trying to layer abundance thinking on top of a scarcity identity. You can't build on a cracked foundation. You have to rebuild from the floor. The first shift is vision, and most people think this means picturing what they want. It doesn't. It means picturing who has it. There's a version of you that already earned the thing you want, already built it, lived it, moved through the world differently because of it. When you visualize, you're not writing a wish list. You're training your nervous system to recognize that version of yourself as real. You're making it familiar. And the brain, stay with me here, the brain is a pattern matching machine. It moves toward what it recognizes as belonging to it. So when you see it clearly enough, often enough, with enough emotional reality, you start to move differently. You make choices the old you wouldn't make. You say no to things the old you would have settled for. You hold out, you stretch, you walk into rooms differently. That is when the attraction begins, not in the visualization itself, but in the behavioral shifts that follow it. Every 90 seconds, something in you wants to dismiss this. That's the scarcity identity defending itself. Stay with me. The second shift is identity. And this is where most people quit without realizing it. Think about the wealthiest person you know personally. Not a celebrity. Someone real in your life who built something meaningful. Watch how they talk about money. Watch how they make decisions. Watch how they respond to setbacks. They don't feel guilty for wanting more. They don't apologize for their ambition. They don't catastrophize when a deal falls through. They've built an internal identity that says this is just part of the process. Abundance isn't foreign to them, it's expected. Now think about how you talk about money. Think about the last time someone offered you something valuable. An opportunity, a compliment, a raise. And you shrank from it, downplayed it, said, I don't know if I deserve that yet. That shrinking, that's your identity speaking before your ambition gets a chance. And you will never outperform your identity. The ceiling on your life is always the ceiling of your self-concept. Identity work is not affirmations in the mirror. It's asking, who would I have to become to hold this? And then, this is the part people skip. acting like that person today. In small ways, in uncomfortable ways, before the results show up. The man who will earn $500,000 doesn't wait until he earns $500,000 to start thinking like him, speaking like him, making decisions like him. He becomes him first. The money is downstream. Now, here's the future projection I want you to sit with for 30 seconds. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Nothing has changed. You're still circling the same conversations, the same hesitation, the same amount in your account, the same gap between what you show people and what you know is true. Same apartment, different excuses, smarter sounding reasons for why you didn't move. Now, same 5 years. But this time, you made the identity shift early. You stopped waiting for permission. You started living the self-concept before the evidence arrived. You said yes to the uncomfortable thing. You held the vision long enough for your behavior to catch up with your belief. Which version of that man do you want to meet in 5 years? The third shift is behavior. And this is where attraction becomes concrete. Abundance doesn't require magic, it requires alignment. When your vision, identity, and daily choices are moving in the same direction, the results compound in ways that look like luck to the outside world and feel like inevitability from the inside. But alignment doesn't happen automatically. You have to engineer it. What does that look like? You stop consuming content that reinforces your current ceiling. You start spending time, real time, not passive scrolling, studying people who have built what you want to build. You bring your full presence to your craft instead of distributing it across 20 distractions. You stop refreshing the analytics every 10 minutes. You do the work that won't pay off for 18 months. You hold the thread when everything in you wants to let go. You show up to the thing even when the return isn't visible yet, especially then because that's the moment most people quit, right before the compound interest kicks in, right before the room starts to recognize you, right before the door opens. Most people drop the thread at the exact moment they should be tightening their grip. That's the behavior of the person who has the thing you want. It's not mystical, it's disciplined alignment. Day after day, before the proof, before the breakthrough, before anyone else can see it. And here's the faith layer. Because if you believe in something larger than yourself, this becomes clearer, not murkier. The idea that you are made for something specific, that there is an orientation to your life that isn't passive theology, that's the most activating belief a man can carry. If God placed something in you, an ability, an appetite, a pull towards something, then refusing to develop it isn't humility. It's waste. The law of attraction at its most honest is just living in the direction of what you were made for. Trusting that motion, removing the beliefs that block it. That's not about controlling the universe. It's about removing your own interference. It's about getting out of the way of what was already intended for you and having the audacity to move toward it without apology. The central metaphor in all of this is simple. You are a tuning fork, whatever frequency you hold internally. Scarcity, fear, doubt, smallness. The world around you resonates with that. Not because the universe is punishing you, because you're only noticing what matches what you expect. But when you shift the internal frequency, when you hold the vision long enough, embody the identity consistently enough, align the behaviors deliberately enough, you start to resonate at a different pitch, and abundance resonates back. Not as magic, not as coincidence, as recognition. The world recognizes people who have recognized themselves. The compression is this: you will never attract what you don't believe you can hold. And you will never believe you can hold it until you practice being the person who holds it. The mind has to see it before the hands can hold it. The belief has to arrive before the evidence does. That's not irrational. That's how every great thing that was ever built actually began, in the mind of someone who decided to stop waiting for proof and start generating it. See it. become it. Then and only then, hold it. The mind sees it first, the hands follow. Drop one thing in the comment. What's the one identity belief you know is capping your life right now? Say it out loud. That's where the work starts. And if you want to go deeper, the real conversations, the extended frameworks, the space where we actually build this, that room is on Patreon. It's not a product, it's a place. Come in when you're ready.